unswerving devotion to me with wholehearted discipline, resort to solitary places, dislike for a crowd of people. The 16th quality of Gnan, wisdom, is unswerving devotion to God with wholehearted discipline. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya says, Mai sarve fashecha ekanti yogena stira bhakti. Unswerving devotion is steady devotion. Vivichar has become a very common word now and everybody knows it. Vivichar means fickleness, not having steadiness, and not having loyalty. God says in this verse that one should perform unswerving devotion with fickleness. Another thing comes in Vivichar, fickleness. When there is expectation and love, then this is Vivichar, fickleness. This is when one gives love in return for something. If this is the case, then there is Vivichar, fickleness. A Vivichar fickle man or Vivichar fickle woman wants something in return. This love is not pure love. Therefore, if a feeling of getting something in return or expectation comes into bhakti devotion, then it may be bhakti devotion, but it will be bhakti devotion with Vivichar, fickleness. Shri Krishna says here that one should perform unswerving bhakti without Vivichar, fickleness. Shri Krishna is very clear in the Gita, and when the need arises, then Shri Krishna does not hesitate from using strong words. One should have bhakti devotion without Vivichar, fickleness. One should have steady bhakti devotion. Shankaracharya says that bhakti devotion with a strong resolve that there is nothing greater than the Supreme Soul and the Lord is my ultimate goal is unswerving bhakti devotion. A wife may have the attitude towards a husband that he is great and there can not be anything greater than him, and on the other side, the relationship with the husband may be the same. In the same way, the relationship with the Supreme Soul is there, but do we keep a relation like the wife? One should have unswerving devotion. Srimad Vallabhacharya says that unswerving devotion is nirhetikani nishkam bhakti, devotion without an intention of desire. That is why you will see in the Pushti Marg of Srimad Vallabhacharya there is a service of Bal Krishna, Shri Krishna in a child form. Have we ever thought about why we have Bal Krishna, Shri Krishna in a child form, and not any other form? Then people created a sect and the mistake was made. But why was the child form of Shri Krishna worshipped? The reason for this is that the child form is such that one only has to give and one never has any expectations to take from it. Mahaprabhuji thought a lot about this before giving the child form of Shri Krishna. If there is a small child of 6 months, 1 year or 2 years, then at that time the mother does not think about what will I get out of my child. At that time the mind only thinks I have to give to the child. For 24 hours, the mother only thinks about the child and does not have any other thoughts. When the child is sleeping, then even then does the mother goes and checks on the child. When the child is awake, then even then the mother goes to look after the child. The mother bathes the child, dresses the child, makes the child clean, and does many different things for the child. She gives the child milk and does everything for the child. The mother has no expectations at all. If something happens to the child, and the mother considers it as her own fault that I did not look after the child, I made a mistake. Then when the child gets older, the mother has expectations. When the boy turns 18, then the mother tells the child to go to the station to get something for her, and if the boy says no, then the mother will get sad, and this sadness is natural. But when this expectation comes, when the boy turned 18, in the worship of the child form of Shri Krishna, the feeling is such that I do not have any expectations of all. Lord, what can I keep doing for you? For the Aradhya Swarup, the older form of Shri Krishna, people make such mad arguments saying that when he went to Mathura, Krishna became spoilt. Is it such that Shri Krishna got spoilt and you're trying to improve? People say that because he got spoilt, we do not serve him. These people have never opened a scripture and read it and have never even made attempts to understand Mahaprabhuji in its wider meaning and its true meaning. They therefore just sit there and say whatever comes into their minds. We certainly bow down to the Aradhya Swarup, the older form, but the reason why we have the Bal Krishna, the childhood form of Krishna, is so that one does not have any type of expectations, and you can only perform unswerving devotion towards a child. I am saying this to a very intelligent audience, and that is why I am saying that no matter how much control someone is exercising, but after a certain age the thoughts come out. No matter how much one likes a person, negative thoughts towards them will come. This is pure psychology and a fact of life. A person who is able to control himself is a great saint, but for ordinary people such thoughts come. No thoughts of desire should come in one's mind in relation to the Supreme Soul, and one should not create expectations in their minds for God. And that is why we have Bal Krishna, the childhood form of Shri Krishna. A great saints say that these thoughts that are running, right, but once one begins thoughts of Brahman from the 12th verse, where Shri Krishna says, Nayam yattat pravakshami, I will describe that which is to be known. This is exactly what Srimad Vallabhacharya's principle of Maya Virhit Shubda Advaita, pure non-duality without illusion, is. A pursuer on the path of Pushti Marg should like the 13th chapter of the Gita very much. That is what great saints say. One who has a great amount of feeling should read this chapter. This is only if one has understood Srimad Vallabhacharya properly. If one only has an interest in miracles, then they will not even want to know what the 13th chapter is. The 13th chapter of the Gita is exactly Mahaprabhuji's thoughts. Actually, Mahaprabhuji has got them from the Gita, because Mahaprabhuji came recently and the Gita was there before. But the 13th chapter of the Gita and Mahaprabhuji's thoughts are exactly the same. This is unswerving devotion. Madhusudan Saraswati ji says that unswerving devotion is devotion which lasts even when favourable or adverse circumstances arise. No matter what one says and adverse circumstances arise, one still has unswerving devotion. When you look at the relationship between a husband and a wife, then you'll find all the characteristics of bhakti devotion. A wife stays with the husband during their happiness, but if there is a loss in the husband's business and the wife says that that's enough, now I will leave, you stay in your house and I'll go to my house, then can you call this true love? In the same way, no matter if sorrows come in life, one should think that, Lord, I will not leave your bhakti, your devotion. One should think that if somebody gives me temptation, then Lord, I will not leave your bhakti, devotion. Shri Krishna, I have tied a relation with you and I will not leave it. This is unswerving devotion. No matter if someone tries to pull you towards a different path, why should you go on it? I'm talking about Shri Krishna because I'm talking about the Gita, but whatever form of God you successfully call your Ishtadev, your personal form of God, you should never leave your bhakti, your devotion. This is because the supreme truth is one. When we talk about the supreme Brahman of Gnan, wisdom, and oppose circles, then I'm not asking to create circles myself. The supreme truth with whom you've tied a relationship of love, and whichever form of God you consider your Ishtadev, your personal form, it should be no matter what anybody else is doing. This is called unswerving devotion. Please note that this is not fanaticism, this is loyalty. We adore all other forms and we take pride in all other forms. We go to their temples and eat their prasad. We enjoy doing this. Why should we not eat them? One should perform unswerving bhakti devotion. The 17th quality of Gnan, wisdom, is resort to solitary places. Shri Krishna has used the word Vivikadeshu Sevitam, and the majority of commentators have interpreted this as resort to solitary places. This is a true meaning if you look at the general meaning. But if we wish to technically understand the word Viviktadesha Vitaram, then what is Viviktadesha Vitaram? It has characteristics. The first thing is that it is a place where nobody else lives. This is the first requirement of Viviktadesh. It is a place where nobody else lives apart from us, and there is no crowd, noise, or swaves of people. Shankaracharya says that the root reason why a solitary place is needed is that one's thoughts remain pleasant in a solitary place, and as a result of thinking about the self and experiencing the self become straightforward. At that time, the devotion and the penance becomes a pleasurable experience. Vivikadeshe chitam pradishyati yataha tataha atmadi bhavana vivite samjyate. There is bliss in it, and there is bliss in the worship if you reside in such a place. Therefore, it's okay. Therefore, firstly, it should be a place where nobody else apart from us lives. There should be no crowd, noise, or sways of people there. Third, it should be a place where nobody gets difficulties because of us staying there. Such a place is called a solitary place. It is a place where nobody else gets difficulties because of us staying there. Fourth, there should be no types of thorns, stones, rubbish, or dirtiness. A solitary place is clean, but it should also be pure. There should be no dirtiness there. There should be natural beauty there. It should be extremely beautiful and natural. If it is, then it will be a solitary place. That is why we have all our holy places of pilgrimage, and they're built in beautiful places. If we have not lived there, then we can see beautifully, then it's a sin of ours. But when all the places of pilgrimage were originally built, for example, Hardwar, Rishikesh, and the 4 pillars, and you see at the Himalayas, you've got other places, Badrinath, Kedarnath, Gangotri, there's sheer beauty there. When you go there, then you'll forget the world. Whatever has been built as built in this way, all the holy places have been built in beautiful surroundings. Nature has the power that can remove a person's defects. I'll say this as an experiment. If a lot of bad thoughts are coming into one's mind, then one should spend a few days alone with nature. One will feel very good and will like it very much. There's a power in nature. Even when a person takes in pure air, then a person becomes fresh. If there is greenery, the sea, rivers, mountains, and other natural beauty, then one's bad thoughts will automatically go away. Where the air, water, and atmosphere is clean, innocent, and pure, such a solitary place is necessary. One needs clean air and one needs clean water, and it should be pure as well as clean. The climate should be very good. This will be a solitary place. This is a place where there's no type of illness. A solitary place is such a place where there is no fear of violent animals, thieves, or burglars. Ultimately, you will see that if you stay in such a place, then you'll certainly get an experience of the soul or the self. This is a place where there's no fear of violent animals, thieves, or burglars. Lastly, there should be sattvic, good particles filled in the atmosphere to create a great environment. This can be called a solitary place. If there is such a beautiful temple, a field of austerities, a cave in the mountain, a bank near a pure river such as the river Ganga, Yamuna, or Narabda, then one should resort to such a place. This is called a solitary place. Over there the mind becomes happy, and when the mind becomes happy, then the experience of the soul becomes straightforward. We've heard all of this, but in today's times, and this practical life, where can we go for this? Someone may even ask me that, Dhruv, how often do you go there in such solitary places? It's fine. If one cannot find such places, then what should one do? One should create these qualities themselves. Or we should create as many of these qualities there as possible. No matter if we have a house, and if the Supreme Soul has showered His grace on us and given us a big house, then we should keep 1 or 2 rooms like this, or we should keep such a corner in the house where there is cleanliness. Over a period of time, you can feel that you can create such a place, such as a pure atmosphere, where if you go to that place, then you'll feel that the vibrations there are different. Wherever you are, you can create this atmosphere there. If one wants peace, then what should they do? One should find time, for example, and after everybody in the house goes to sleep, or 1 hour before everybody in the house wakes up, one will be able to find such a time. When there is a will, then there's a way. It is not as if one can attain Gnan, wisdom, or become called a wise person if they leave their homes for a solitary place. One could create this atmosphere anywhere. It may take some more efforts, because if you go to such a place and it becomes straightforward, but if you cannot do this, then it's not as if you should stop your penances. You should create such an atmosphere wherever you are. The next quality of Gnan, wisdom, described in this verse is a dislike for a crowd of people. This is when one does not get pulled where there's a crowd of people. This is the attitude of staying away from crowds. This is a quality of a wise person. This does not mean that a wise person does not like people. A wise person does like people, but a wise person does not count heads. Rather, he builds a bridge with people's hearts. Many people like to count heads and think how many people came in each and every matter, for example, weddings. People just like to add figures to this. For example, when I say that I got my daughter married in style, 800 people ate at the wedding. He has told the caterers to provide food for 622 people, and yet he increases the figures by 178, saying that 800 people ate at the wedding. This is because people get amazed, saying that 800 people came to the wedding. On seeing or hearing about a crowd of people, people think that he has become very successful. This is not necessary. On the other hand, this is not a no to more people coming, but then the more people in the crowd, then it doesn't determine whether it's a success or failure. A wise person looks at the hearts. That is why Sri Krishna says a wise person should not have a dislike for crowds of people. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya interprets this as disinterest for people who have no culture and no morals. These are the people who are vandals, uncultured, uncivilized, or those who have no humanity in them. This includes a person who does not have any of the human feelings that we call love, compassion, feelings of cooperation, peace of mind, and conciliation. The ideal is that you should make efforts to create these feelings in them, but if you're failing to achieve this, then the scriptures say that you should stay away from them. You you should not keep much of a relation with them. If we are waving a flag of love, and on the other side there's a complete wall, then our scriptures say that we should have a disinterest for these people. If there is no value of feeling somewhere, then we should have a disinterest for these people. If circles of extroverted people are untoward wisdom of the soul, and after enjoyment of the material objects and pleasures, then we should have a disinterest for them. If people have no interest in the soul, no interest in bhakti devotion, no interest in spiritual development, and are only after material enjoyments material enjoyments, when they just want to eat, drink, and be merry, and are after sensual happiness, then if we stay away from these people, then the better that our physical and mental state would be. Everything else is fine, but our physical and mental state will remain well if we stay away from these people. Commentators say that the root of company of people is wrong, and that we should not go into any company of people at all. Sangha Saramana Vagjana Sajitya Tvaktam Na Shakyate Sasad Visaha Kravata Satam Sangoti Pirijesalam. But this is not possible because man is a social animal, and therefore it will not be possible to completely leave company with all people. Then if this is not possible, the commentators say that one should seek the company of good people and people doing good activities. This is because the company of good people is a medicine for the illness of crowds of wrong people. When this happens, and if one has to live with wrong people in the material world, then if they go to a discourse for a little while, then it will immediately have an effect on them. Just like the person tired for the whole day sleeps for 7 to 8 hours, and all his tiredness goes away, and he's fresh when he wakes up in the morning. In the same way, if we have to stay with wrong people for 20 or 24 hours, then we should read the Gita for 2 hours, from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., so that the other 22 hours will make no difference to us. That is why Sri Krishna says that one should have a dislike for crowds of people. This is the medicine for the illness of crowds of people. One should stay away from crowds of people who are haram-scaram and attached to objects. This is because there is a famous quote that so the crowd, so the colour. Kajal ki kotri mein aisa hi jata karo, kajal ka dag lagi hi jage. Put such a demonstration in your eye makeup that the marks of this makeup definitely brush on everyone. There is no more a wasteful exercise than going out to improve the world, and there is no more of a useful exercise than making efforts to improve oneself. There are many people who have failed in life despite having intelligence, wisdom, and everything because of one thing. It is because they had the attitude of trying to improve everyone. One is never able to do this. I have learnt this through experience. It never happens. Our turbulence increases that I will try to improve this person and do this to that person. Instead, we should have the attitude that I will improve, and that is it. I like a quote of Swami Vivekananda very much, that if each and every person in the world made their doorsteps clean, then the whole world will become clean. We have all gone out to clean everybody else's doorsteps without cleaning our own doorsteps. No matter if I have a mission that I wish to change the world and that I wish to change society, if I myself become good, then has that not resulted in one less bad person in society? To that extent I am successful. Then other people may become good people upon seeing my life, and that is God's grace. End of the verse. And that we have time for one